Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. So it's Saturday today. It's actually quite a nice day here on the west coast. We're expecting rain, but actually for the moment it's quite lovely out there. So hopefully you're having some time to spend in your craft room today, or maybe you're busy with friends and family things. It's kind of that weekend stuff. But I thought I would jump on and share an Easter card. It's getting to be a little bit middle of April, kind of close to the middle of April is Easter this year, and so I thought I would play with the Storybook Friends bundle, which is absolutely adorable. It's part of a suite called Storybook Moments from the mini catalog. Includes two different bundles, so Storybook Friends and then Storybook Garden, I think it's called. It's really cute. It reminds me of Beatrix Potter. So as growing up, I always read the Beatrix Potter books, and so whenever I see these little bunnies and hedgehogs and other little critters, that's what it reminds me of. So I'm going to make an Easter card today using the Storybook Friends bundle and some of the designer series paper. All right, let's switch over and we'll get started. Okay, so this is the bundle. I seem to have a bit of there we go. Okay, bit of a delay. Not sure what's going on. Okay, so Storybook Friends is the bundle stamp set. The images are 75%. So they are a fair amount bigger actually when you stamp them. But look at these little bunnies. Hedgehogs and all sorts of things, and I hope everything's going okay on my video because it seems to be really weird, so I'll have to watch it afterwards. And then of course the dies. Look at these frames that you have on the dies that you can cut out and put your little animals on, and then you have all of these dies that you can use to cut out the animals, or of course you can fussy cut them. There are, and I didn't bring them over, I don't have them handy. The paper, actually, you can use the dies to cut some of these images out of the paper. So for example, this one here will cut out this little bunny. Or you can fussy cut them. There are also die cut ephemera in the package that you can use, so you don't even have to do any die cutting, which is amazing. All right, so let's bring in my supplies. I'm going to use Pool Party. I'm trying to think about Easter colors, and for me Easter colors are always kind of the subtles, pretty, soft pinks, baby blue. This is Pool Party, so that's kind of what I think of when I think of Easter, and so that's what we're going to use today. So I've got a piece of Pool Party that's 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4, and we'll use our bone folder to burnish that so we get a nice fold on our score line. Okay, so then I cut. Look at this piece. This is such pretty designer series paper. It's got a little bit of, now that I look at it, it may be old olive, but I actually saw pecan pie. So I'm going to just put a little pop of pecan pie behind it just to bring out that. It does kind of still, I think it will work with pecan pie. All right. On the other side of this, there are some other little critters that you can cut out, but we're going to just use the subtle background. We're going to keep it pretty simple for this Easter card. So my pecan pie, so this piece of designer series paper I cut 3 3/4 by 5. And then for the pecan pie that's behind it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Just a peekaboo. So whenever I want that kind of just a little bit of color behind something, I cut it just 1/8 of an inch bigger than my other piece. So we've got our piece. Now this is one of the ephemera pieces. So it's a little fence rails, so I'm going to use that. So there's all sorts of little animals that you can use, but I didn't find any that were kind of the right color. At least I was looking for some that were more Pool Party. So I'm going to cut this little guy out. I could use my, use the die, but well, since I'm going to have to cut some of the other ones out as well, I thought I would just cut this out. So I'm going to cut all around here, this piece here. I'm looking for one that has Pool Party and is kind of looking the other way to this guy. So we'll just kind of cut around. I'm not going too close to the image. I'm actually leaving a little bit of the white. Now I'll show you a little trick. If the kind of the white edge on these bothers you and maybe you want it to look a little bit more vintagey, I'll show you a little trick when I get this cut out, because these images do have a bit of a vintage feel to them. So for now I'm going to cut this bunny out who's got a basket of carrots. And we'll see if we want any of the other bunnies for our little scene. And I'm just kind of cutting around, leaving some of the edge. Okay. So we got our two bunnies. And so I've got a blending brush. Let's zoom out a little bit. A blending brush, and I'm going to grab some crumb cake. And I'm going to grab a scrap. So I don't get my other paper dirty. Okay, so what you can do is if the kind of the edge on these bothers you, where you've got the white edge, just take your blending brush, pick up some crumb cake, and just kind of add some crumb cake color, kind of get it around the edge. So you could pick it up and do it that way. One, it'll make it look a little bit vintagey if that's a word. And sometimes if it's really white, this has kind of got a crumb cake, like a softer tone to it, so it's kind of toned it down already. But if you have a piece of an image that really is very kind of stark white, this really helps to kind of take that whiteness away from it. Okay. So that's just a tip you can use if that really bothers you. Okay, so let's bring that out. There we go. Okay, so we're going to just put our little fence, and I'm going to have one of our Mr. Bunny over there, and our Mrs. Bunny. Now, the question is, do we want the little bunnies too? So let's cut them out as well, since we're in a cutting mood today. You can stamp the images and then cut them out with dies. You can cut some of the images out with the dies, or you can do the fussy cutting. If you guys follow me, you know that I like to fussy cut. Sometimes it's just easier than grabbing, especially if they're tiny little images. I have a hard time with tiny little images. All right, let's cut this one out while we're at it. You can do this, ahead of time. Some people I know actually, while they're watching TV, they will take and cut out a whole sheet of the images. I have to say I don't do that. I'm always doing something else while I'm watching TV, like knitting. I have a pair of socks that I'm working on for my husband, so I tend to do knitting or something else while I'm watching TV. I'm not even picking up any more crumb cake. I'm just using the ink that is on this blending brush to just kind of distress or kind of. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now let's take. You could Actually, I'm going to use glue dots. So I want to pop up my fence a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some glue dot, and I'm just going to take, I don't know if you can see the seed glue dot, and I'm just going to take and kind of roll that glue dot, kind of, probably hard to see, into a bit of a cigar shape. And I'm going to take and put some of those on my, there we go, you can see one kind of right there, on my fence. So that will pop up the fence just a little bit. Like that. You don't have to have too many of them. I just want enough to have it pop up a little bit. Like that. So just grab your glue dot and then roll it with your fingers kind of into a cigar shape so that you can pop up that fence. So I have 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Let's put another one on the bottom just so that it's kind of popped up evenly. And before we put that down, I'm going to take a little bit of glue and just glue my bunny kind of like that. And then we can take and pop him behind the fence. And then it really kind of does look like he's behind the fence. And then we can use dimensionals on our other little critters. Put Mrs. Bunny down here. I want another one behind the ears. Should have put that on before I glued it down. There we go, behind the ears. Oops. I got a family going on here. Okay, we'll put those 2 guys on. And I'm just going to use glue dots on these because I don't want them sticking up too much with the dimensional. That would make it. I could do it like this. Just take and put your piece right onto the glue dot and then pick it up. Sometimes I need to use the piercing tool on my take your pick to do that. There we go. We got 1, 2, and we have a little bunny family having a bit of a conversation over the fence. Now we definitely need a sentiment. So I pulled out pecan pie and the Easter greetings stamp. So I'm just going to take. We didn't stamp that very straight. Let's try that again. There we go. Now, when I cut my piece, you probably can't see this, but when I cut my piece, I have a little bit of a rough edge. So if you ever get that, one thing, it often means that your trimmer needs to be, you need to change your blade. But if that happens to you, I just take my bone folder and just kind of run over that rough edge to just kind of flatten it, and so it doesn't quite look so ragged. But it's usually a sign that I need to change my blade in my trimmer. So if that happens to you, check that out. Okay, so where are we going to put this? Okay, I'm going to put it here just because I think it balances it a little bit. I'm going to put it up a little higher. Maybe not. Maybe right there. So we've got our little family. Now I pulled out the embellishments that go with this bundle are the antique pearls. And they come in 3 sizes, so we'll use some of those. And so we'll put a big one with the littlest one. And then we'll put one of the medium ones on. And then of course the last thing we need to go with our card is something for the inside. So I think what I'm going to do, since I've been in a cutting mood, we are going to just cut out another little bunny quickly. This guy's got a pool party watering can, so I'm going to kind of quickly cut him out, him or her. And I'm going to cut the whole kind of scene with the watering cans, and he's actually watering some tulips by the looks of it. So I'm just going to kind of leave it as a little scene, and we can just put a little glue on that and put that down on the inside. There we go. And that's the inside of our card. Easy peasy when you're just using the designer series paper. So there's a little Easter card for you using the Storybook Friends suite, which is just so adorable. So if you haven't checked it out, you maybe want to do that. All right, where are we? Here we go. There we go. All right, everybody. So thanks for joining me today. I'm pretty sure I am live in my Facebook group. Yes, I am. So that was good today. It isn't always working. And so if you do watch me in my Facebook group, a couple of things. One, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because that always seems to work. And the other thing is that Facebook is now deleting lives after 30 days, and so you can watch me live, but if you ever go to find the video of where I made a particular card, or if you missed one, it's gone after 30 days. And so YouTube isn't like that, and so I encourage you to pop over to my YouTube channel. So if you search Stamping with Melva, you'll find my YouTube channel, and so you can subscribe, and that way you'll get notified when I go live. The other option is my Facebook page, which always seems to work, but again, I believe they're deleting lives after 30 days. So I'm going to try and encourage everybody to flip over to my YouTube channel, which doesn't seem to have the issues. And then those videos will always be there, unless YouTube changes their mind on how they're doing it. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now, I won't be live tomorrow because I have a class that I'm teaching, and so I will be at that class all day tomorrow. Hey Amanda, no worries, you can watch it on the replay. And then next week I am doing a weaving retreat, and so I won't be live through the week. I will be live next Saturday, and so come join me for one last card before I head to On Stage in France the following day. So hope you have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific. Thanks for joining me.